Please.
Shalom, Shavua Tov. I want to continue what I spoke before. I'm trying to explain that, in my opinion, it's one of the ikarim of Hasidus Breslov, Rebbe's teachings, that there is a derech, that Am Yisrael has an agenda. We are not leaderless. And I just want to bring first satmar for the Lamdanim. I want to look it up. First Ma'amokim is Sefer Kutuman comments him involved. The Rebbe talks a lot about derech, and he talks about the three mitzvahs, Hamadus Melech, Mechias HaMolek, Binin Beis HaBchira. He's saying, the way I understand it, that there is a derech how to achieve these three things. It's not something that it's impossible to do anything until Mashiach comes. No, there is a derech. We're on the derech to arrive at a melech, at Mechias HaMolek, and at a Beis HaMikdash. One. Two, the Rebbe speaks in Tinyana Yiminayin Ches about derech Eretz Yisrael. There is a derech Eretz Yisrael. Three, the Rebbe speaks in Siman Samachat. The whole Siman is about this. And here we come to Meimeriva. Yeshua Meir is telling me about Meimeriva. I promised you never to talk about it. Now it comes. Meimeriva is not arguing with a Gabbai about an Aliyah to the Sefer Torah. Believe me, that's not what the Rebbe is talking about. The Rebbe is talking about Meimeriva, the machlokes between the Gedolei, Yisroel, about the faith of the Jewish people. And he says there's a Sefer Shairis Chuvas that comes from the arguments between the Gedolim, and it's us, Nidbu Yirei Hashem, even if they're not exactly in communication, they're not SMSing each other, but there is a telepathic connection. And the Rebbe says in Siman Kuf Pei Gimel that there is a Sanhedrin, the Tzadikim are sitting, each one in its place. It could be it's a circle of maybe hundreds of kilometers, but the other people don't count, only the tzaddikim count, and they're in constant connection with each other. Now, this is the sheet. I know it's hard to believe. I'm not saying it's easy, but somebody who thinks that there's just a balagan and just everybody just doing what they think, and there's no communication and there's no interaction and it's not true according to the Rebbe. It's hard to believe, but this is what the Rebbe teaches. There is a derech Eretz Yisrael, there is a Sanhedrin, and it's not Hefker. Okay, that's one thing. Now, I want to speak, but why is it so hard to believe this? There's a thing the Rebbe says, the first Torah is the Shemesh, which is the Seichel, and is the Levana, which is the Emunah. And Martin Buber tells us, he wrote a book, The Eclipse of God. There's an eclipse. There's many, many levels of eclipse. If a person does an Avera, we do Taivist. The Rebbe says in Seichel, you can have the smallest Seichel, you won't do a Taivist. Because everybody understands. You become a Shubba to it. You can't stop yourself. You become an addict. You're enslaved by your own Taivist. Anybody understands? You must have control. You must have self-control. So why do we do Avera? It's because there's an eclipse. The Seichel is an eclipse. Then there's the Ravana, is the Munah. Sometimes the person doesn't have a Munah. He can't believe. Or even if he believes, but he doesn't feel. There's no Yadata Yom Yisroel Lecha. Or sometimes you just can't deal with it. It's just too heavy. It's too heavy. Hashem is here. Shavisi Hashem, the next summer, the first of Shurnoch. Hashem is, Big Brother is standing over me, and I can't say what I want to say because he's listening. It's just too much. That's an eclipse. It's an eclipse in the Emunah. The person can't deal with the Emunah. These things happen. The Stober Odessa speaks so much how people were so mean to him. Hasidim Breslov, they wouldn't give him a piece of bread. How could it be? There's an eclipse. There's achzoria. Sometimes the simple human Rahmanis. There's an eclipse of Levi Yitzhak Bender. I remember he once spoke, I think, about Rababa in Turin. That Turin was, the Turin said, it's the Medina Shel Ashiris. There were tremendous rich people there, businessmen. There was one poor guy, Rababa, and nobody took care of him. Why? It's an eclipse. You have to realize that each one of us in the Jewish community as a whole, the Jewish nation as a whole, suffers tremendous amounts of eclipses constantly, and that's to be makusha to the tzaddik, because the tzaddik is above. An eclipse can only be in one. The whole planet cannot be in eclipse at the same time. The tzaddik is never in eclipse. Okay, now let's turn to what we're talking about. Let's talk about the tzaddikim. Let's talk about this book Hagdolim. I didn't see it, but I can imagine what it is. There's three ways of dealing with biographies of tzaddikim. One way is to attack them. He's crazy, he's power hungry, he's egocentric, he just cares about himself, blah, 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 blah. There's plenty of books like that. But we show him, like people who just want to look every little chesaron, and they say, that's the person. The chesaron, that's the person.
Yisroel,
but maybe he also has minded. No.
Yisroel.
Yes, sir.
We're speaking about an academic book. It's a high-level book, so...
Well, I'm getting there. One way we have a lot of people who attack tzaddikim, lo chaser. We show him a room who attack tzaddikim. We just look for the deficiencies, and every person has a deficiency. Ein tzaddik b'ot asher yaseh tov v'lo yechta. Okay. The second type of book, he's a tzaddik, he's a petek shenafal min hashamayim, he's so special, he's so special, he's so special. The Rebbe is satmar, whoa. And the third way is the academic way, parva. I'm not going to make, I'm not for and I'm not against. I'm just telling you the facts. These are the facts. This is what the Rebbe himself said, blah, blah, blah. Now you decide yourself. But all these ways are eclipses. It's sheker. Because even the one that's praising the tzaddik, it praises him as an individual, as if he's something special. He's a petek shenafal min hashamayim. It's not that way. There's a derech. All the tzaddikim are going in a certain way. There's different scholars, but it's all the derech of the Baal Shem Tov. There is no such thing that this tzaddik decided. This is the way it is. I decided. I know. I'm the Torah. That's ridiculous. There is no such thing. It's a sheker. Rabbi Nachman says there is a Sanhedrin. There is a connection. There's shaylas and tshuvas. There is a form of consensus that the Sanhedrin arrived at. Okay. Now we'll talk about the klausenberger Rebbe, since Yisroel Meir is interested. I already explained in the Sikha before. Rabbi Nachman says clearly it was Shabbos, Nachamu, Tov, Kuf, Ayin, like maybe 65 days before the Rebbe passed away. And the Rebbe swore by Shabbos that he doesn't know anything. And then he gave a Sikha. Now, he didn't say a Torah because he said, I don't know anything. But I have chiyus for my trip to Esther. And the kids, what the Rebbe is saying there, that even the biggest person who's holding on the level of Yechida, that he's Ben Ovid is Ovid Ke'evet, but sometimes he has Shitus in order to be Mamshich to Oitzer Shematnas Chesed, in order to go to Esther. The Rebbe is saying, I am suffering right now a darkness because I don't have any Torah, I don't have any light, I'm a Ish Pashut, I'm a Prostik, in order that there should be Zionism. That's what the Rebbe is saying. In order that the Jews should eventually be able to come to Esther, the son of Medina. So Nachman, I have to be in this darkness, that it should happen. And it has nothing to do with the Torah. It's the opposite of the Torah because it's like Shvat. So that's exactly what the klausenberger Rebbe is saying from what I saw. Again, I didn't read this. Shemeir sent me a few pages in the email. I didn't read this book. I haven't seen this book. But he's quoting from the klausenberger Rebbe. That's what the klausenberger Rebbe is saying. He's going to He's saying Zionism is there to save the Jewish people. Exactly. It's prostic. It's Oisei Shemat Neschinem. It's nefesh. This has to do with survival. That's the name against survival. It has nothing to do with the Torah. It's the opposite of the Torah. And by the way, the message says that by the Mishkan,
Rabbi Schneider, hello?
Yes?
I read the whole 4 pages on the what the klausenberger Rebbe said. He's mainly explaining what the difference between him and the satmar Rebbe. I didn't see.
But what's the difference? It's exactly the machlokes.
It's the machlokes between Esther. He says the machlokes.
Again, I haven't explained it all. I don't say I have the whole story in my mind. But I'm trying to explain that it's wrong to see each one as deciding by himself. That's not what happens. That's a lie. What happens is that all the tzaddikim from the time of the Baal Shem Tov, there's a ishtalshalos, and each one takes a certain version of what he understands the Baal Shem Tov's teaching is from his Tati from Zaidi, or like you see, the klausenberger Rebbe saw the contrast from the Rebbe Ivri. That's what it says in this book. That was news to me. Now, when did the contrast come out exactly? I don't know. Here we have, it's like a 10-year-old boy, a 10-year-old Ilui, and as Hamza Emekol, and he's reading something from the Rebbe Ivri. His father gave him a shush. Most likely not. He was reading it under the table. If his father was he would have had it out of his hands. What? You reading this stuff from the Rebbe Ivri? We're sons. We don't believe in that type of stuff. Okay, but it influenced him. Okay, so we believe it was from the Shemayim. It wasn't just an accident. Just like Esther found the Status of Efesh was an accident. All the rest of it, Bishop Luna found the rest of the book, it was an accident. This is holy history. It's holy history. It's just like the story of Anna, who comes to Shiloh and she gives birth to Shmuel. All these stories, they're all interconnected. We believe the words of the tzaddikim are the words of the Nevi'im. The Rebbe says, the last story, Kinyana Simechet, the Rebbe says there's Nevuah. This is the Ikar. Right? Sometimes you have to read this Nevuah, but if you read there was only once Nevuah, and that's it, and what's happening now is just an accident, and just so happened that this Zaman Leib Halberstam found this country somewhere from the Levi, and this influenced him, and then he became the klausenberger Rebbe, and all of a sudden he's Tioni, and they kick him out of Williamsburg. This is all just an accident? No, this is holy history. That is history. It's all connected. There was a soul connection between the Levi and the klausenberger, and he had to see this country. His father liked it or he didn't like it. That's the real way. There's a continuum. It's not as if it's just an accident. That's found the Stadt Everything became a Breslov by accident. We don't believe that. We believe everything's Bashkocha and everything is a continuum. That is, has to be connected to who has to be connected to Moshe Breslov, who has to be connected to Abnes, who has to be connected to the Rebbe. Not an accident, Rebbe Nosson just happened to meet Rebbe Nachman. This is all holy history, and everything is a continuation. You have to see the continuation. If you just take an academic thing, he just takes, okay, you learn information, but you don't see the whole story. There's a whole story going on over here. There's the shitas of just like the shitas of Tanoi, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi. There's Rabbi Shimon. There's shitas how to explain the Baal Shem Tov. It all comes from the Baal Shem Tov. This all gilui is this union that is a derech. The Eretz Yisrael is from the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov one Eretz Yisrael. He's trying to get this. The B'nai was trying to get this. The B'nai is not a misnagid. The misnagid is not a separate story. We don't believe that. The B'nai is part of the story of Baal Shem Tov. That's what the Rebbe said. This whole machloek that's the main believer. The whole machloek is part of the same thing. He's not, the Vilna is not out of himself. Somebody was a kaifer, somebody is a simulation. He's outside of the story. And the Tzionim are also to a certain extent outside of the story. Because Kofrim, not like of Kook makes them the Iker. They're not the Iker, Chas v'Shalom. Of Kook is absolutely wrong. The Chant according to our belief, comes from the Baal Shem Tov and Rabbi Nachman. And the Tzionim, they're okay, the monkeys, they're the Chamor, do the work, whatever you want to call them. But they're not part of the story because they're outside of the Shlomi Moni Yisrael. Okay.
Okay, Rabbi Yisrael.
Anymore. Maybe we'll continue.
Okay, just let me
wish
tell
everybody a good week. Shavuot Tov, Barach, Shiva Mashiach, Peken Yigavenu Meirav. Kol Tov.
Kol Tov.